Do you ever wake up with that tingling, pins and needles sensation in your feet? Or perhaps it's a dull ache, a burning feeling, or even a complete lack of feeling that makes every step uncertain. It's a frustrating and often painful reality for so many of us as we get older, isn't it? That feeling of numbness in your feet can truly steal your independence, making simple tasks like walking across the room feel like a monumental effort. You might find yourself constantly worried about stumbling, or perhaps you've even given up activities you once loved because of that unpredictable sensation. It's a silent struggle that far too many seniors face, often feeling like there's nothing they can do to truly alleviate it. What if I told you that something seemingly innocent, something you might even consider a healthy part of your daily diet, could actually be contributing to, or even worsening, that very numbness? It's a surprising truth that many people overlook, a secret tucked away in plain sight. In this video, we're going to uncover 6 common fruits that, while generally good for you in moderation, can actually make that uncomfortable foot numbness much worse for seniors, especially if consumed in certain ways or quantities. Understanding these small changes can make a world of difference in regaining comfort and confidence in your steps. So, settle in and watch to the very end, because I promise there's something here that will truly surprise you. Let's dive right into the first fruit category that might be a silent saboteur when it comes to your feet. We're talking about dried fruits. Now, I know what you're thinking, but dried fruit is healthy. Right. It's natural. And yes, in theory, they retain many of the nutrients of fresh fruit. However, here's the crucial part when fruit is dried. All the water is removed, and what's left behind is a highly concentrated source of sugar. Think of a small handful of raisins or a couple of dates. That tiny portion actually contains the sugar equivalent of a much larger quantity of fresh grapes or dates. It's incredibly easy to overeat dried fruit because they're so small and seem so innocent. You pop one date, then another, and before you know it, you've consumed a huge amount of sugar in a very short time. For seniors, especially those who might already be grappling with issues like prediabetes, diabetes, or general blood sugar sensitivity, this rapid influx of sugar can be particularly problematic. High blood sugar levels, even temporary spikes, are a major contributor to nerve damage, a condition known as neuropathy, which is the underlying cause of much of that foot numbness, tingling, and pain. When your blood sugar is consistently elevated, or even frequently spiking, it damages the tiny blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to your nerves. Over time, these nerves become compromised, leading to the sensations you're experiencing in your feet. Dried fruits are like a fast track to those blood sugar spikes. It's not about them being inherently bad or poisonous, but about their extremely concentrated sugar content and the ease with which we can consume too much without realizing the impact. So, what can you do? It doesn't mean you have to banish them forever. The key is portion control, and perhaps rethinking them as an everyday snack. If you absolutely love dried fruit, treat it like a very small dessert, a single date, perhaps, or a tiny sprinkle of raisins on your oatmeal, rather than a whole handful. And make sure you pair it with something that has fiber or protein, like a few nuts or some plain yogurt. This helps to slow down the sugar absorption and mitigate that sharp spike. Even better, consider switching to fresh fruit whenever possible. A handful of fresh grapes or a couple of fresh dates offer the same nutrients but come with all their natural water and fiber, which helps your body process the sugars much more gently. Remember, your nerves thrive on stable blood sugar, and dried fruits, for all their natural goodness, can really upset that delicate balance. Now, let's turn our attention to another seemingly innocent fruit that can be a hidden culprit for some seniors: very ripe bananas. Again, bananas are hailed as a healthy food, packed with potassium and other good stuff. And they are, for the most part. However, as bananas ripen, their complex carbohydrates convert into simple sugars. A green or slightly yellow banana has more resistant starch, which digests slowly and doesn't cause a dramatic blood sugar spike. But as that banana turns golden yellow with brown spots, it becomes significantly sweeter, and its sugar content rises. For someone already dealing with nerve issues or sensitive blood sugar, that sweet, soft, very ripe banana can deliver a sugar punch that your system might not be able to handle efficiently. Just like with dried fruits, sudden surges in blood sugar can exacerbate the inflammation and damage to your nerves, intensifying that feeling of numbness, tingling, or even burning in your feet. It's not just about diabetes, even if you're not diagnosed. Your body's ability to manage sugar can change with age. Your metabolism might slow down, and your insulin sensitivity might decrease, making you more vulnerable to the effects of high sugar foods, even natural ones. Imagine your body trying to process a wave of sugar when your system is already strained. The delicate nerve endings in your feet are often the first to feel the brunt of that stress. So, how can you enjoy bananas without inadvertently worsening your foot discomfort? The simple advice here is to choose greener, less ripe bananas whenever possible. They are less sweet and have a lower glycemic index, meaning they release sugar into your bloodstream more slowly. If you prefer them riper, consider eating only half a very ripe banana at a time, or pairing it with a source of protein or healthy fat, like a spoonful of nut butter or some plain Greek yogurt. This combination can help buffer the sugar absorption. And again, just like with dried fruit, moderation is key. It's about being mindful of the portion size and the ripeness, rather than cutting them out entirely. Understanding how these seemingly healthy choices impact your body's sugar regulation is a powerful step towards feeling better and moving more comfortably. We've touched on dried fruits and very ripe bananas, both of which can lead to quick sugar surges that challenge your nerves. Next, we'll uncover two more fruits that, despite their popular appeal, can also surprisingly contribute to your foot discomfort. Continuing our exploration of fruits that might be quietly working against your comfort, let's now talk about mangoes. Oh, those luscious, sweet mangoes. They're a taste of the tropics, often associated with sunshine and health. And yes, they are indeed packed with vitamins A and C. However, much like the very ripe banana, mangoes are quite high in natural sugars, particularly fructose, especially when they are fully ripe. A single medium-sized mango can contain upwards of 45 grams of sugar. That's more sugar than a can of soda. For seniors, this high fructose content can be a particular concern. While glucose is used directly by your body's cells for energy, fructose is primarily processed by your liver. When your liver is bombarded with too much fructose, especially from concentrated sources like ripe fruits or sugary drinks, it can convert that excess fructose into fat. This process can contribute to something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And more broadly, it can increase systemic inflammation throughout your body. Inflammation, as you may know, is a silent enemy for our nerves. It's like a low-grade fire burning within your system, constantly irritating and damaging delicate nerve tissues when your nerves are already compromised, as they often are when experiencing numbness or tingling in your feet. Adding more fuel to that inflammatory fire through high sugar consumption can absolutely worsen your symptoms. The intricate network of nerves in your feet is highly susceptible to this kind of internal stress. So, what's the best way to enjoy mangoes without inadvertently fueling your foot discomfort? If you love mangoes, consider having smaller portions, instead of eating a whole mango in one sitting. Perhaps enjoy a quarter or half of one. And, just like with bananas, opting for a slightly less ripe mango can also help, as its sugar content will be marginally lower. Another smart strategy is to pair your mango portion with something that slows down sugar absorption, like a handful of protein-rich nuts or seeds, or blending a small amount into a smoothie with some unsweetened Greek yogurt. The key isn't to eliminate this delightful fruit entirely, but to be mindful of its potent sweetness and the large amount of sugar it delivers, and adjust your consumption to support your body's delicate balance and protect your nerve health. Next on our list is another tropical favorite that can sometimes be problematic: pineapple. Fresh pineapple is wonderfully refreshing, and it's known for containing bromelain, an enzyme often touted for its anti-inflammatory properties. But here's the catch: pineapple, especially ripe varieties, is also quite high in sugar. A cup of diced fresh pineapple can contain around 16 grams of sugar. While it does come with fiber, which is good, the sheer volume of sugar, especially if you're enjoying a large portion, can still contribute to blood sugar spikes. Beyond the sugar, some individuals can experience a slight sensitivity or irritation from the bromelain and other natural acids present in pineapple. While for most people this isn't an issue, for seniors whose digestive systems might be a bit more sensitive, or those with underlying inflammatory conditions, this mild irritation can sometimes add to the body's overall inflammatory load. And as we discussed with mangoes, increased systemic inflammation can exacerbate nerve pain and numbness. It's a subtle connection, but every little bit of inflammatory stress can contribute to the cumulative burden on your delicate nerves. Think of it this way: your body is constantly working to maintain balance. When you introduce something that, for your particular system, causes even a slight disruption in that balance through a sugar spike or a mild inflammatory response, your nerves, which are already struggling, can feel the effect more acutely. So, how can you navigate pineapple first? Portion control is paramount. Instead of a large bowl, opt for a small handful of cubes. If you're buying canned pineapple, steer clear of varieties packed in heavy syrup. They are sugar bombs. Even pineapple packed in its own juice still has a significant amount of sugar. Fresh is always best. And if you notice a tingling or uncomfortable sensation in your mouth after eating pineapple, that might be a subtle sign that your body is reacting to its enzymatic content. And it might be wise to reduce your consumption. Consider it more of an occasional treat than an everyday staple, especially if you're actively working to manage foot numbness. Instead, think about swapping for lower sugar fruits like berries or melon, which offer wonderful nutrients without the same concentrated sugar punch. We've now explored dried fruits, very ripe bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, highlighting their sugar content and potential for inflammation. So now, let's move on to the final two fruits that could be contributing to your discomfort. Along with some powerful concluding thoughts, we've covered some surprising insights into common fruits. But there are two more crucial categories we need to discuss that might be exacerbating your foot numbness. Let's talk about fruit juices. Even those labeled as 100% natural or no added sugar. This one might shock some of you, because we've been told for so long that fruit juice is a healthy choice, a quick way to get your vitamins. But here's the stark reality when you drink fruit juice. You're essentially consuming the sugar from fruit without any of the beneficial fiber that comes with eating the whole fruit. Think about it this way: to make a single glass of orange juice, it takes several oranges. If you were to eat those several oranges whole, you'd be full much faster. And all that fiber would slow down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. But when you drink the juice, that concentrated sugar hits your system almost immediately, leading to a rapid and significant spike in blood sugar. This is precisely the kind of sugar surge that, over time, can cause significant damage to the delicate nerves responsible for sensation in your feet. The constant roller coaster of high blood sugar creates an environment of oxidative stress and inflammation that relentlessly attacks those fragile nerve endings. It's like repeatedly exposing a sensitive wire to an electrical overload. Eventually, it's going to fray and stop working properly. For seniors, whose bodies might be less efficient at clearing these sugar spikes, fruit juice can be a particularly insidious culprit for worsening neuropathy and that uncomfortable numbness. So, what's the alternative? It's simple. Eat your fruit. Don't drink it. Opt for a whole orange instead of a glass of orange juice. Enjoy a handful of berries rather than a berry smoothie made solely from juice. When you eat whole fruits, you get all the vitamins, minerals, and crucial fiber, which acts like a buffer, allowing your body to process the natural sugars at a much more controlled pace. If you miss a refreshing drink, try infusing water with slices of cucumber, lemon, or a few berries for a subtle flavor without the sugar hit. Your nerves will thank you for choosing whole, fiber-rich fruits over their stripped-down, high-sugar juice counterparts. Finally, we come to a category that, while perhaps less surprising, is still incredibly prevalent and damaging for foot health: canned fruits in heavy syrup. This one is almost a double whammy against your nerves. Not only are you getting fruit that has often been processed, to the point where many of its delicate nutrients are diminished, but it's swimming in a thick, sugary syrup that adds an enormous amount of unnecessary sugar to your diet. This isn't just about calories. It's about the sheer volume of refined sugar that floods your system when you consume these products. This type of sugar is particularly detrimental because it lacks any redeeming nutritional value and is absorbed extremely quickly, causing those immediate sharp blood sugar spikes we've talked about. And as we've established, these spikes are the archenemy of healthy nerves. Consistently high sugar intake promotes systemic inflammation, contributes to poor circulation, and directly damages the nerve fibers in your feet, making that numbness, tingling, or burning sensation worse. It also contributes to weight gain, which can add extra pressure on your feet and further complicate circulation issues. These canned fruits might seem convenient or a nostalgic comfort, but they are truly one of the least beneficial choices you can make for managing your foot health and overall well-being as a senior. The solution here is straightforward. Completely avoid canned fruits packed in heavy syrup. There are simply too many better, healthier alternatives available. Instead, reach for fresh fruits whenever you can, if fresh isn't an option. Frozen fruits are an excellent choice. They are picked at their peak ripeness and flash frozen, locking in their nutrients without any added sugar. They're perfect for smoothies, topping oatmeal, or even just thawing and enjoying on their own. Even canned fruits packed in water or their own juice are a significantly better choice than those in heavy syrup, though fresh or frozen will always be superior. Making this simple switch can dramatically reduce your daily sugar intake and give your nerves a much-needed break. We've now uncovered 6 categories of fruits and fruit products that, while seemingly innocent or even healthy, can significantly contribute to and worsen the numbness and discomfort in your feet if consumed regularly or in large quantities. We started with the concentrated sugars of dried fruits and the surprising sweetness of very ripe bananas. Then we looked at the high fructose content of ripe mangoes and the sugar and potential irritants in pineapple. Finally, we dove into the rapid sugar spikes caused by fruit juices and the outright sugar overload from canned fruits and heavy syrup. Remember, the goal isn't to demonize fruit or eliminate it from your diet. Fruits are a wonderful part of a healthy lifestyle. The true power lies in understanding how certain types, quantities, or preparations of fruit can impact your body's unique systems, especially your blood sugar regulation and inflammatory responses, both of which are critical for nerve health. By making small, mindful adjustments, choosing whole fruits over juices, opting for less ripe options, practicing portion control, and avoiding overly sugary preparations, you are actively taking steps to protect your precious nerves and reduce that uncomfortable numbness in your feet. These small changes might seem insignificant on their own, but when combined and consistently applied, they can truly make a big difference in your overall health and happiness. Imagine feeling more confident in your steps, enjoying walks, and simply being more comfortable in your own skin. That future is within your reach. We encourage you to share your own experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Have you noticed how certain foods affect your foot comfort? We'd love to hear from you. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more practical and empowering health tips tailored just for you. Here's to living your best life, feeling comfortable and strong at every wonderful age.